So this is the Warren, a game from Bully Pulpit. It's powered by the apocalypse. The quickest pitch line for it is that it is a kind of a Watership Down style game, in the sense that you are playing rabbits fairly realistically, and I'm going to use air quotes on that. Fairly realistic rabbits. They're dealing with real trials and tribulations. It's a game that does have a number of different frames for the kinds of places that the rabbits can exist. And we're going to walk through the character creation process, and that also involves kind of the setting creation and questioning process that we're going to do collaboratively through that. We're going to play through a chapter to see how that goes. And with me is Keith of Rolling Boxcars, and Robert, and Sean.
Hello.
So before we get started, I have sort of two approaches that we can take with this. The game comes with a number of different worlds. We can go with something more urban, kind of the city park style rabbits, and their trials and tribulations. I'll of course put a twist on that, or something more. And I'm going to say this now. Here's the other thing I need to say. I am from Indiana. I have a terrible Hoosier accent, so I'm about to say a word that sounds terrible when I say it. I'm going to say rural, or rural.
Rural.
Not urban rabbits. So anybody have a preference either way?
I don't really have a preference. I can't say rural either, so it's okay.
Okay, good.
I can say rural.
Nice, bravo.
Thank you.
Any preference?
I don't. No. Whatever you feel inspired for.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me see what pops up here. Okay, let's go with the park. The park is kind of classic, and so I'm going to read you a little bit of the blurb that they have for the city park. This is a frame put together by Kristen Firth and Erica Mersman. And it says, the park is the green. It is surrounded on all sides by the gray, but the gray is no place for decent rabbits. The green sometimes gets overrun with humans, but they don't come to the park at night or when it rains or gets too cold, so there's really plenty of time for rabbits. You just need to stick to the green and avoid nice days, and you'll sort of be okay. You might also want to avoid whenever weird new things the humans are doing appear on the green, and keep a lookout for animal control, and for the feral cats, and for the birds of prey that hunt at night. But other than that, it's really pretty good. So that's the basic gist of that. So we're going to walk through the character creation process, which is pretty simple, very much like the sort of the powered by the apocalypse, and we all start with a set of basic moves, which you'll see on the sheet there. There's ones that are very common that you'll probably use quite a bit. Resist panic, which is going to be called on for sort of overcoming problems. Speaking plainly when you're communicating. Bolting when you're trying to run. Sneak when you're trying to hide. Pay attention is your look move, and then helping or hindering. And then there are some special ones you can see after that that are very situationally defined, so you might want to glance at those. Now, everybody gets, from the sheet that's in the Google Doc that's called Warren Extras, everybody is going to get one of these character moves, and if someone takes one of the moves, nobody else can have that move. It's a unique move here for a character, and it's kind of defining for what makes your rabbit special. So we're going to walk through that, and essentially I'm going to start with Keith. Why don't you take a look at there? Is there any one of those kind of interesting knacks, interesting moves that are on that sheet that look cool to you?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Thumper.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks kind of cool.
Okay, so
That's just my character idea.
okay, when you kick, cuff, kick, or knock another rabbit around, you may roll strong instead of shrewd, uh, uh, and when you speak plainly. Okay, so essentially, you're using your feet to do your talking for you.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
all right, and then uh, Sean,
Mm-hmm.
what are you thinking?
Um, let's see. I'm thinking.
Sean looks like a fertile myrtle to me.
Let's see.
I will say I took that I think for the last character because I had two of my three characters die in the session that I played of this. So
I mean, sure. Give it a shot. We'll go with it. Fertile.
Fertile, you want to go with
I was
that?
kidding, man. I was kidding.
No, you know what? I like it. I like just getting like it's like a die roll. Whatever the dice. This was like a human die roll in that sense. Like someone said it, let's go with it.
Okay. And one of the questions I'll ask when we come around is your rabbit pregnant at the start of the game? So we'll come back to that as a question here.
Decisions.
And Robert, what about you?
I was thinking of maybe Swift Warning.
Okay. When you let others to danger, you can they each take +1 forward when responding to it. Good. Okay. So the stats you have for rabbit, as your rabbits are strong, swift, steady, and shrewd. I think those are pretty self-explanatory, and they all have a nice initial S sound to them. You get to assign 1 at a +2, 1 at a +1, 1 at a 0, and 1 at a -1. Any question about those assignments?
None from me.
So what are you taking for your +2, Keith?
I'm taking strong,
Okay.
and that plays in with that whole thumper thing.
And what are you taking for your -1? Just making my notes here.
Swift.
Swift. Oh, good. All right. And how about you, Sean?
Shrewd will be +2,
Okay.
and strong will be -1.
Strong. -1. Okay. Robert?
So I'm going to take Shrewd at +2 and Steady as my +1.
Okay. And what do you take for your -1?
For my -1, I'll take Strong.
Strong. Okay. Okay. And so your panic, max panic level, which is your panic will start at 0, but the maximum that you can take there is 5 plus or minus whatever your steady value is.
Max panic is 5 minus steady.
Plus or minus steady. So
Got it.
if you have a steady of +1, then your max panic is 6.
Gotcha.
All right. So panic score is it continues and stays on. It's a little bit like our stress track for our rabbits here. When you get to the top of your panic level, then essentially there's a loss of control for you at that point. Other rabbits can come over and help you to reduce your panic level through the help hinder action. So everybody has on their sheet, you can pick out some looks for your rabbits. The body type, the coat, the ears, the parts, and you can also decide your name. And there's some examples there, or you can come up with your own. I'm going to give you a minute to get that set, and I'm going to come around and ask you to describe yourself and give your name.
I've got all my stuff marked. If you wanna
Awesome.
start with me.
So Keith, tell me about your big brute of a rabbit.
I am okay. So I'm a big brute rabbit. My name is Pumpkin,
Okay.
which denotes my size. I'm a
Okay.
little stocky. My coat is lush, and I have tattered ears, probably because I like to fight instead of
Okay.
talking. And of course, I'm a buck. I'm a male rabbit.
Okay. All right. What color fur?
We are gonna go with kind of a like a beigey colored
Okay.
lush fur.
Okay. That makes sense. Pumpkin. All right. Sean, what about you?
I am a lean, lush female rabbit that has a white coat, like the color of the first snow. My name is Bounty, which, yes, is a match with my character move Fertile.
Mm-hmm.
And my ears are medium with just the right amount of shape that the bucks come calling.
Okay. And one of the questions here is, as a doe, as a fertile doe, is your character start pregnant or not?
Hmm. What is not me never having played before, what are the ramifications of it, or how should I be thinking about it?
Well, here's what I would say: is pregnant is a much more of a sort of story element thing. There's no mechanical benefit or penalty. However, in terms of awfulness and consequences, a pregnant rabbit there's a certain amount of horrors that can be visited upon, and it creates a certain amount of tension there. As an example, I ran a pregnant rabbit the second chapter of the game we played at Gen Con, and when my panic level hit max, she went into labor.
Hmm.
So there's some risks there.
Interesting. Um, I think I think I'm going to go not. I think I'm
Okay.
going to have on my first game. I'm going to have a fresh start, if you will.
All right. That makes sense. And we lost Robert for a second. We'll let him pop back in, and I will get his information. Here we go. All right, Robert, can you hear us okay?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to come to you and ask you your description and name.
So my character's name is Dusty. He's a lean, mangy buck with tattered ears. His coat is really sort of a greyish, possibly was white at some point, but it's like got all grey with various bits of grime. So that's why they call him Dusty, because he's like dust colored.
Awesome. And how does that? You have that swift warning as your character move. How is that reflected? What do we see about Dusty that shows that?
He's very twitchy. His eyes, are always darting around. His ears, are like always like slightly perked up.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to start, and we're going to talk about the Warren itself. The Warren being the set of tunnels that are dug out for the rabbits here in the city park in the green. Depending on the length of time that rabbits have been in a particular warren, they can dig fairly deep. And in urban places, they can dig around pipes. They can dig around things, get posts and such. There can be layers of that. There can be multiple warrens in a different area. So I'm going to ask questions. This is for anybody to answer, to throw in, and we're going to fill in some of the details here. So I guess my first question is, how long has this warren been in the green? Relatively recent, long-standing. How long has it been there?
How long is long-standing?
By rabbit time, generations, or what are you thinking?
Remind me what the lifespan of a rabbit is, because I'm not entirely.
Rabbits generally live, I believe, 7 to 8 years.
We're going to hold you to that now.
Yes. Wild rabbits.
Gotcha. I was going to propose like 3 to 5 years. That would be what, 2 generations in theory?
Okay. Were you guys, and I'm going to use the guys here as a generic, since, but
Bounty is not offended.
okay. Were you born here in this particular warren?
I'm thinking that I came over from the destroyed warren.
Okay.
It was chased off by probably civilization, like a development.
Okay.
And I came over with my, what would I come over? Do they call them families? I came over with my clan, family, something like that.
Right. Okay.
And,
What about Pumpkin?
Pumpkin is from this warren. He's lived here all of his life.
Okay. And Dusty?
I think Dusty was like a domestic rabbit. Like, he was kept as some kid's pet at one point, but the family couldn't keep paying for food and stuff, and decided to accidentally let him out.
Fair enough.
At the time, Dusty was okay with this. He wanted to get out and explore, but since then he's got a bit more world weary.
Does he look back on his time in that domesticated household as a trial, or as something, some Elysium that he lived in?
He at the time he didn't. He wasn't satisfied with it, but looking back on it, it was much easier back then. So things were much easier.
There are rabbits that came here when it was founded a few years ago. When the rabbits who are older than you three talk about the past, do they think that it was harder in the past or easier in the past? What do they say about the warren? Is it better or worse now?
I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to say it's better now than it used to be.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking maybe this part, and this is just me going on a ramble here, the park may have been, think of like, rundown Detroit back in the day kind of thing, or another, major city. And it's kind of going through revitalization, so the grass is a little greener, as it were, these days.
Yeah, and since I arrived from the destroyed warren, I'm probably just thankful to have one.
Okay. So that's interesting that we've got some renovations going up, some better taking care of the park. That's a mixed bag for rabbits. More attention being paid versus more people there. Perhaps more control over things. What does the warren think about the humans? What's the general take on that?
I mean, I think Bounty's got to be probably negative about it because her warren was destroyed by humans. So she's probably very skeptical, very distrusting, very standoffish on the human side.
Would you say that that feeling is shared generally in the warren, or are you kind of an outlier?
I'm going to say that I'm more so than the warren, is my guess. But how much more so, I would leave up to the others that are from the warren.
Okay. Robert, what do you think?
I think, there's general distrust of humans because, they're always building these, structures, and, these structures seem to get closer and closer to the park all the time.
All right. So let me ask about this. We've got the gray that is out there that surrounds the green here. Are there any particular legends or stories that are told about the gray, things that you tell to young kids about that strange strip that surrounds the place, like a great gray river around it?
That's a mighty fine question.
Uh-huh.
I would. Pumpkin remembers being told when he was a young kid that outside of the green, as it were, not only did humans reside, but other beasts, as they were referred to when he was young, that skulked in the shadows and made a meal out of a rabbit or three. Growing up, he kind of figured out, from life experiences, that those stories were, the dogs and the cats and the other raccoons and the other creatures out there, the other four-legged things, rats.
So a certain amount of fear about the foreign nature that's beyond the gray.
Absolutely, from Pumpkin's perspective, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any other stories, Robert, Sean, that Bounty or Dusty has heard?
I'm thinking that the warren's on a. Correct me if you've already made reference to like where exactly it's located, but it's in a. Is it in a park? And I'm thinking it's on the side of a hill.
Okay. Okay. So we got side of a hill in the park. Okay.
And some of the ramification of that side of the hill is that during the wrong season, it's a water runoff. And so the water comes from the more urban of the city, and it comes streaming down this hill. Now, that doesn't mean we're in the wrong season now, but during the wrong season, everyone knows there's danger from the rains.
So when the drains get choked up with garbage and it comes flooding down, then the water pours off of the gray, comes over to the hill and runs down the hill that's a bayou.
True, and during a real disaster, even sometimes underground, a pipe will give way, and the safety that we think from underground turns into a watery grave because the water springs from a pipe exactly where we're going.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got something established that we've maybe got an urban locale that does have a kind of a rainy season and has some hills to it, so that's interesting. Well, let me ask you this then. We got a hill there in the section of the park that you're in, and let's imagine that the park is fairly large. What's in the immediate vicinity of your warren? What are things you see? So, Sean, you've established a hill. Robert, what's something else that's in your close vicinity?
And see some. There's some houses, maybe, like a residential area. I don't know how you describe that in rabbit terms, but
So you're saying that there are like cabins or something in the park?
yeah.
Okay. So little shacks or little houses that are there. Are you imagining that people are there at night staying in them, or are they just used during the day?
Like maybe a groundskeeper's like cabin or something,
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Okay. So close by, relatively close by, the hill is the cabin and maybe some other office things. We got the groundskeeper that might be on staff. That's an interesting thing. Keith, what's something else in your neck of the park?
I'm thinking there is a kind of a playground, like a human playground, that draws people both day and occasionally at night.
Okay.
Um, you know, and then along with that, you know, there's like trash cans that collect refuse during the day or whenever, and you know that also draws in some of those other four-legged creatures.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then. We've got a few pieces here by the hill. We got the housing. We got the little bit of the playground. That kind where they put the sort of the pea gravel down, so when the kids fly off the merry-go-round, they hit that. Um, in the other parts of the park, the sort of further away from the Warren, what are some other features that are there? Some other significant things that the rabbits know about? Sean?
I think there's a given the urban presence on one side, I think there is a like the worst neighborhood of the Warren is demarcated by a dumping ground. So it's a industrial dumping ground. You know, the rabbits probably don't think of it that way, but they think of it as whether it's unlucky. Probably I was going to say unholy. They probably think of it as unlucky. So the
Okay.
rabbits think of this unlucky area. Rabbits that go there and stay too long get bad coats. They lose their coats and this kind of thing. And so some rabbits do still live there, surprisingly, but it's the bad neighborhood. Like that's where good rabbits don't go.
Okay. So maybe if we go down to the far sort of southern end of the park, where they haven't reclaimed and made the park a nicer place, they've got maybe some fenced off area. We've got kind of a dump there. Maybe it's a super fun site, but we don't know. But it's a kind of a horrible place down there. Okay, that's good.
I'm even thinking that it's just beyond the park. So there's a fence there, and the park ends. And most of the humans, whether the rabbits know this or not, I'm not sure, but most of the humans don't know what's on the other side of that fence, but the rabbits do. And the rabbits go underneath the fence. So the humans don't know it's bad for them, but the rabbits know it's bad for rabbits. And so humans just think, oh, it's a fence. That's the end of the park. Well, they don't know that on the other side of the fence is deadliness to everyone. But the rabbits know it very well.
Okay, I like that. I picture one of those big chain link fences with the orange strips through it, blocking a line of sight. All right, I like that. Keith, what's something else in the other parts of the park?
I'm thinking maybe I say a grove, but that's probably way too large. But a stand of kind of sporadic, like hardwood trees, oaks, maples. Something aesthetically appropriate. For a park.
Okay, so maybe at the center part of the park, there are some woods, not too dark and deep, but they're present.
Right.
Okay.
There might be something with a few walking trails where the sunlight still comes through. Again, that whole not dark and deep kind of concept.
Okay, I like that. All right, Robert, what else?
I was thinking almost in the same lines there, but like a great old tree, like an old oak or yew or something, something that's been there for a lot longer than rabbit time can really account for.
All right.
And the humans have marked it off as like they trying to preserve it or they place some sort of importance on it. But it has unfortunately been blasted by lightning at some point, and it's kind of in tatters now.
Okay. So something with the great root system, sort of breaking up the stones surrounding it, and huge old. They got the little plaque to show, and they've probably got some that sort of arborist sticky stuff on there, trying to heal up sections of it. Okay, I like that. Who of you has ranged the farthest south towards this wall?
It's possible. It could fold into my background where
Okay.
I got moved, so my warren was destroyed, and it's possible it was because of this same problem. That dumping ground is not small. It's just one tip of it ventures into the direction of the park, and it was, since it's not fixed, they put up a fence. But one thought is my warren was destroyed by these chemicals. It had a bad neighborhood too, but that bad neighborhood took over the whole thing.
Okay. Let me ask you this: do we have a name for that dump? Is there something that the rabbits would call it?
Chernobyl?
Chernobyl.
What's going on with you?
It's a good start. What about the glow?
Okay.
I like that.
Call it the glow.
For the wrong reasons.
Yes. Let me narrow our discussion a little bit now in on the warren itself. You three are relatively young. We have Pumpkin, who was born there, and two sort of expat rabbits in Dusty and Bounty. Within the warren, how are decisions made? What's the structure, the hierarchy there?
So one question I have is how many rabbits are there too?
Oh,
that would help with that question a bit, I think.
Okay. What do you think is a good number? Is it a big warren or a small one?
I think it's a good size, right, Keith? Because you were saying how it was like 4 to 6 years old.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably of modest size, maybe a little to the larger size, but I don't know. Is that 30 rabbits, or is that 15, or is that 50? I don't know.
I think if you said a couple dozen rabbits, that would imply a good-sized warren. Essentially of varying ages, some young, some old. So let's say 24 rabbits.
Right. Okay. And I would think there's probably some kind of I wouldn't say democratic process for decisions, but
I was thinking sort of like maybe council of elders, because like the oldest rabbits make decisions because they've been around longest. They know how to keep themselves alive and keep others alive. So.
And about how many would you say are sort of the old, elder, venerable, wise rabbits?
3? Because I mean, 12's not huge. We can't put too many because 12's the whole schmoll.
A couple dozen. So.
Oh, a couple dozen. Sorry, 24.
Yeah.
Good call.
But even so, like 3 is probably a good number for like a council of elders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's picture that. So we do have a council of elders. Discussions are brought to them. They make the decisions. They probably set who goes out and does various things. Let me then ask you a few personal questions, given that we'll kind of establish that as the nature of the Warren. Let me start with Keith here. Who in the Warren makes your life miserable?
I would have to say that that's going to be Ivy.
Okay.
She is a doe of considerable age, and apparently Pumpkin is her pet project of sorts. Maybe it's because he's too fat, maybe he's too slow. Pumpkin's really not sure, but you know, Ivy seems to think when things need to get done, you know, the little fat Pumpkin is the guy to pick on.
Okay. That's a good one. We got Ivy there, an older one. One of the elders or not?
Yeah, I was kind of envisioning she's one of the three elders.
Okay.
And rumor has it she may or may not have been a lover of Pumpkins at one time or another.
Okay, so there might be a spat there. Okay.
Could be. Rumor has it might be true.
Okay.
Rabbit's
Bounty, within the Warren, who has turned out to be your rival, someone that you have butted heads with?
So when we moved to the Warren, because of the lack of space, you know, we were outsiders, so we had to actually move pretty close to the glow, just because of being new. And there is a rabbit there by the name of Mange that kind of takes it upon himself to run things down in the bad neighborhood. And so he is, even though we don't really consider ourselves part of his domain, you know, we geographically, technically, we kind of are in his space. And so he is a self-appointed leader down there that that since the rest of the Warren looks so askance at, that they just don't even bother. They don't even care that he names himself a leader down there, because that's not where good rabbits go. So the council just kind of like, sure, you know, run the dump, you know, run the trash. That's fine. But unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of the tracks, so he bothers us quite a bit.
Okay. So one of the things we're saying is that the Warren is fairly spread out across the park.
Probably. I mean, considering the glow is so bad, you have to have some parts that aren't so bad. So I'm thinking, yes, yeah.
All right. And let me ask Dusty, who does Dusty rely on?
I'm going to say I rely on Snow. Snow, you know, she was kind to me when I first showed up. She showed me how things work around here, and she's always been a good a sort of mentor figure for me.
All right. Someone who's native to the Warren, or was she also someone who arrived from another place?
I think she also arrived from another place, and you know, she had sympathy for me because of that.
All right. What season is it? General question. So are we in spring with those rains? Are we in summer with the heat? Autumn with the leaves turning, or winter with the snows?
I'm thinking. So one thought is the rains are impending. So they're
Okay.
not here, but they're coming. And so everyone's trying to, like people are worried. There's a little bit of tension, as there is every year. People are having to try to prepare, batten down the hatches, get your cubby holes sealed with whatever rabbits think they're sealing them with, and hopefully it's not glowing.
All right. So are these days when there are throngs of humans in the park during the day?
Maybe because they're trying to get their last nice days in
Okay.
before the rains come, and they know they can't go to the park for a while.
All right. Um, so starting to get into the wet season, the humans kind of packing in during that time. Let me ask this then. Let's assume, for the purposes of this, that you three are a pack, as it were, that you do things together or have been assigned to do things together, searching for food or scouting or that kind of thing. Um, so I'm going to ask you a sort of a setup question here. There's a rabbit. The rabbit's name is Fennel. How long has Fennel been missing?
I would propose, maybe just a few days, 3 days.
Okay. So 3 days, Fennel has been missing. The rains haven't come yet, but you have noticed that the numbers of the humans have trailed off over the last few days. At just about the time that Fennel went missing, the numbers have kind of declined, and it's actually been fairly quiet in the park the past few days during the day, and it has started raining, and you three are called in by Ivy, great old rabbit. You're told to go down into the lower chambers. We go to a warren hole underground, carved out, relatively stable. Probably we can see some exposed pipes on the side of the hole here, and Ivy looks with some suspicion at Thumper, and will say, you three need to go and look at the outskirts of the green. Look on the edges. Don't cross the gray, but you are to look on the outskirts of the green to see if you can see Fennel, if you can find him. We have asked amongst the warren, and he has not been seen by any other rabbit. Elder Hare nor young Kit, none of them have seen him for days. Go and look to your sources. Speak to the others that live in the park, that live in the green, and see what you can discover.
Very well.
What do you guys know about Fennel?
He is too curious for his own good.
Okay.
He's one of the rabbits that Bounty hasn't met yet.
Okay.
So she is new. She's one of the few rabbits So she's been curious about this curious rabbit because she wonders if Fennel's been avoiding her.
All right. Anything else we should know about Fennel, Pumpkin?
Yeah, his distinguishing feature is kind of twofold. He's a tagged rabbit with a human ID tag on his one and only ear.
Okay.
So it's kind of a double marker for him. He's got like the left ear only, and it flops down, and it's got a like a ranger's tag or a scientist ID tag on it.
All right.
No wonder I'm so curious about Fennel.
See, it all works out.
So, I assume the three of you will head out of the Warren. Is it raining out now?
Maybe a mist.
Okay.
Maybe it's. What about? I was going to say dusk, but what about dawn? Maybe that mist that comes with the dawn. That
Okay.
It's wet, wets the grass down, and.
So fairly early, before the humans would normally arrive, we've got that mist, that wet dew on the grass there as the three of you head out. It is still that sort of dim twilight. It's maybe a little bit overcast, so it gives you some concealing dark there. Maybe in the distance you might catch a whiff of smoke. Just for a second in the wind, nothing heavy, just catches your attention for a moment.
My nose visibly twitches.
Okay, you'll catch that scent. So where do you guys go? Who do you talk to? What do you do here? What's the process for doing a hunt like this?
I would
maybe go ahead.
say I would think getting to this previous to this point we may have talked to a couple of the other rabbits in the Warren that may have known Fennel or intimately know Fennel, and maybe find out where his particular stomping grounds might be. Does he like to go along the fence? Because of curiosity. Or does he like to go frolic in the stand of trees?
Okay. They'll tell you a couple of interesting things about Fennel. One is that most people regard the gray with a little bit of worry because they know that other beasts and things live outside of it. But he loves going along the gray and looking beyond. Sometimes there are flashing lights out there beyond, and he loves those. But the other thing is that he is known to keep company with the Orvals, and the Orvals are a pack of pigeons that live by the cement pond. There are several different packs of pigeons, but the Orvals are ones that range very far and wide and bring lots of tall tales from other parts of the city, from beyond the green. Does that seem reasonable?
Mm-hmm. And that cement pond, is it, so if we used the urban city as north and the dumping is south, what side is the cement pond on?
It's sort of a little bit north of the stand of woods that kind of breaks the park in two. Okay. It's just up there. It's a little way south of the playground.
Mm-hmm. Well, my two suggestions would be, I guess, the Orvals and their abundance of stories, and then perhaps seeking out some of the rabbits that live on the periphery. Like there's probably some that we think of as a little bit frontierish. They like to live near, not in the gray, but on the edge, and they may know something that the inner, more trustworthy rabbits don't know.
All right. Does that seem reasonable to everyone?
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
So you'll make your way out across the grass here. It hasn't been mowed in a few days, so it's getting a little bit uneven. But it's still very nice and good to chew on. You move around again here in the early dawn light. You won't see any other people moving around, so you can dart from spot to spot. And you'll get over to the pond, which is a great place because the pond has a fountain in it. There's a great hail of water that usually starts up, but you'll notice that it isn't going right now. And you can see that the Orvals are moving around as they do. The pigeons, they walk with their heads pointing forward, and they run in little groups around, and they kind of bump into one another and head off. And they perhaps seem more agitated than normal. What do you want to do?
I say, Pumpkin, do you know any Orvals?
The last Orville I had a conversation with probably doesn't want to have a conversation with me. We had a little bit of a tussle when he wasn't becoming he wasn't forthwith with the information I was asking for. So probably not a good source to talk to the Orvils.
Dusty? Oh, Dusty, you're a newcomer like I am. I don't know.
Yeah, we could maybe Bounty should stay back, and you and me can talk to her.
Yeah, I will say that while I am new, so I have never ventured to speak with these birds. I always got along with the pigeons in my own warren, and so I don't have any. Unlike humans, I don't have any. Unlike my approach to humans, I've never had much of a fear of pigeons, and so I'm game. Pun intended. There might be a pun there.
Lowell, I do have a question.
Sure.
Given the little narrative piece I just gave about having this tussle with an Orville in my last encounter with the clan of pigeons, I don't know really. I mean, I know there's some angst between them and probably me, but how is that? How is my relationship with the Orvils, or particularly, I don't know. Let's call him Brutus the pigeon.
Okay. So is Brutus is the head of the Orvils?
Yeah, I guess he's the one that
Brutus,
they had a tussle with.
And then there's the Orvils, and all the other Orvils, all the other pigeons they call themselves Orville.
Right.
There's only one pigeon with a unique name. So what you'll probably see if they do catch wind or scent of you, there'll be that migration of pigeons will kind of move around. There's no explicit get away, but the pigeons drift away from.
Right. So they're wary of me then. Okay.
Yes.
Then I think in that case I should probably hold my position back.
Pumpkin, hide in the bush. We'll handle this.
I like that idea.
Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for any kitties.
All right. I like that. I will scan the horizon while the other two try to engage with Brutus and his clan of Orvilles.
Okay. I'll come back to you in a second. We'll try out the system. Have you make a pay attention roll in just a minute.
Yeah, right.
Let's deal. So Dusty, Pumpkin, you two will approach.
Bounty and
sorry, Bounty and Dusty will approach. They still are a little wary. They'll do that thing where the pigeons kind of move and shift around until finally you'll see the pigeon flock will part, and there's a slightly puffier, slightly more regally blue pigeon, one eye gone white with age, and it kind of comes forward, kind of looks at you. Hello there.
You Bruce?
I am Brutus, yeah. Hey, the Brutus with the pigeons, yes.
I'm Dusty. This is Bounty. We were looking for a box that's gone astray. I believe you might know of him. His name's Fennel.
We know Fennel. Fennel comes around. He's a good rabbit, not like the other rabbits.
So maybe you share our concern of Fennel's not having been prancing with the other rabbits. Maybe you would tell us if you've seen Fennel.
Maybe I would. What's in it for us?
Well, you being so shrewd and so such a leader of the pigeons, we would love to be able to tell everyone how it was you who probably saved Fennel.
Let's have you, as you kind of butter up here.
Yes.
It seems like we're going to move to that speak plainly. So you're going to roll me 2d6, and you get to add your shrewd to that.
All right. Okay. My shrewd is 2.
Okay.
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
See, this is why I dug up a camera out of my bottom drawer so everyone could see. It certainly wasn't for my blurry image. It was so you could see the
he listens to you. He turns his head up a little bit. You know, a little bit of pride there when you say his name and you speak to him. The other pigeons kind of are cooing around, and he will say, "We saw and spoke with Fennel the morning before last morning. He asked about why things were different, and we told him we didn't know, but we had seen fewer people out and on the streets, and there have been fewer people in the park, and we told him that we had seen a strange new thing on the east down towards the glow, something in the gray, blocking on the gray, a big thing. We didn't know what it was."
And may we assume that Fennel was quite interested in this?
Oh, he likes things. He's curious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We tell him things. Sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not true, but he listens either way.
Brutus, you are very wise. We thank you for this information.
Yes. You don't have any bread or seed or anything? You don't know where any might be? You haven't seen anything like that?
There is a small patch just outside the glow that few rabbits go to because of the neighborhood. And it is typically a little bit unpicked if you wish to check.
Oh, okay. We might do that. Are you cool with that, Dusty, or do you want to add anything in on this?
No, Dusty is already sort of wandering off towards the direction they indicated.
All right.
Muttering to himself that,
Okay. And you will see Brutus and the other pigeons. They will kind of circle around on the stones here around the fountain. They clearly keep doing circles. They're clearly looking for scraps or seeds, and they keep kind of going over their own path in a circle, searching there.
I'm sure that's best.
Yes, they'll find something eventually.
Yes.
So, Dusty, you're heading off that direction then?
Yep.
Okay. Let me have you then, coming back to Pumpkin, let me have you make a pay attention roll.
Okay. So let's see. That is plus shrewd, which is 0. A 6. That really sucks.
All right. Well, you get to ask a question. You still do, but you open yourself up to something.
Okay, so I get 1 hold, which means I can ask 1 question.
Absolutely.
All right. What here is of the greatest danger to me?
Well, as you're kind of looking around, as your two friends are talking in that kind of misty morning, you will hear and kind of like a clanking, and coming closer, you will see a dog, big slobbering basset. Basset Beagle mix. It's going along the ground. Ears, it's clearly got your scent. You can see though, it also has some kind of, it's like it dangling from it a leash.
Okay.
And it is going along there, sniffing, snorkeling towards you. You get that whiff of a basset beagle, the smell that they have from the oil on their fur. And that's probably the first scent that you'll catch of that.
Okay.
So what do you want to do?
Not good. Well, I think it's probably pretty prudent that I really want to bolt, but that's probably not a good thing either. So my rabbit nature is going to take over, and that's exactly what I'm going to do is bolt. But I'm going to bolt towards the Orvilles in an attempt to maybe distract the dog, and he'll get excited about the birds.
That seems like a good thing. As you kind of look, you'll see that Dusty has kind of started to move off, and Bounty is kind of deciding where she's going to go. Let me have you make that bolt roll.
Okay. So that's going to be plus. Oh God, my Swift is -1. -1 because I'm a lardy. Yeah,
you are.
I'm a lard. I am. So it's -1. Oh my God. The die roller hates me tonight. It's beautiful.
So I'm going to give you a panic, 1 panic on that, because you bolt out and you don't bolt towards the pigeons. You kind of lose your bearings, and you'll hear behind you the woof, 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 as this dog sees you bolt out from the bush and now starts running towards you. You'll hear the barking behind you. So let's start. Let's come back to Bounty. You see Dusty start to take off, and then just as that happens, you'll hear this barking and see Pumpkin go darting out, and then this dog low to the ground, but running along, ears flapping, coming chasing after.
I am going to try to orient myself I think that we're still pretty well in the Warren, right? So we're still in pretty much Warren Central, give or take.
Oh yeah, you're very much in your territory.
So I'm going to orient myself to the nearest bolt hole, rabbit hole, and then I'm going to scamper to what I think is the best spot to try to get the dog's attention, but can still beat him into the hole.
All right.
So this might be a help hinder on, I'm just, however this works, towards Pumpkin's next bolt roll or something like this, however that works.
So I'm going to have you make first a resist panic check because this is a new danger. This dog has appeared out, and you're not immediately taking off. So go ahead and roll steady.
Mm-hmm. All right. My steady is 0.
Okay.
One more. Second one coming. Oh, okay. It's the 4 and the 1.
Okay. So you're going to take a panic.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you want to try and still do that, or do you want to take the actual go for the flea and move yourself, into that bolt hole that you've seen?
Candidly, I think the Bounty has used up all her courage in trying to help, period.
Okay.
And when it didn't go that well, I think Bounty is going to try to live another day.
Okay, so you are taking off right now, so now I'm going to have you make a bolt roll for escape. So rolling plus swift.
This is swift is +1. Oh, beautiful.
Oof. So the dog is much closer than you would like it to be, and you will take another point of panic on that. Essentially, imagine also that there's an explosion of wings around you as this dog comes out of the bushes, as all of the Orvals take off into the air, and there's feathers everywhere, noise and shock and so on. Let me come over to Dusty. You've started to head off. You're like, okay, we're going to go to this place. I'm very curious about what that is. And then there's all that noise behind you. What do you want to do?
I'm going to freeze, and I'm going to, ears twitching, eyes rolling around, just trying to figure out what my best action would be.
Okay. So you want to try and assess the situation, kind of pay attention?
Yep.
Okay. Because you moved a little ways away, I'm not going to put you sort of in the resist panic zone there. I will go ahead and have you make that pay attention roll.
Okay, so that is 8 plus 2, so that's 10.
Ooh, excellent. So you get to ask 2 questions, and you get a +1 on acting on those answers.
Okay, so how could I get Pumpkin and Bounty to safety?
Well, to get them to safety, you'd have to draw the attention of the dog over them. Right now, Pumpkin is sort of running the fastest, and so is in the dog's sights. That at least that's sort of the immediate way to get them to safety. Does that seem like a reasonable answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And where can I flee to?
Very easily, if you want to, since you're out of the sort of the dog's range, you could easily move yourself away into the stand of trees that are nearby and get away from the dog's sight.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start hopping around and snapping twigs and stuff to try and get their attention.
Okay. So you're trying to draw the attention of the dog.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to have you make a resist panic roll when you kind of trying to do this, because you got to.
Okay. 12.
12.
I rolled 11. And I've got +1 steady. So.
Excellent. So you are steady. Do we want to do this as? Are you trying to innovate and create a new kind of distraction, or do you want to do this as kind of a help hinder to assist them?
Let me just see what innovate is. No, just help their next roll.
Okay. What do you think is the appropriate stat for this, for doing this distraction? In terms of your method.
Shrewd.
Okay.
Because
you're trying to be clever about knocking things around. Let's have you make that roll, and then I'm going to come back to Pumpkin.
Okay, so that is 10 plus 2.
Excellent.
12.
All right. So I'm going to say that both characters will get a +1 on their next action. Pumpkin, you've kind of tried to run, but you're heavy. You're low to the ground, much like this Beagle Basset.
Right.
And you're not making it far, and you'll hear the jangle of his collar and the jangle of the leash bouncing along the ground as it comes towards you. But then you also hear some of the squealing of a rabbit and the crashing, and you'll see your good friend Dusty making noise off to the side, and maybe the dog, who's not too clever, maybe his attention a little split. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna keep. Man, I don't know. That's a tough one. I need to keep moving. Yay. So the dog's attention is more on me or more on Dusty's distraction?
He has split his
I think
attention.
it's half and half at this point.
Yeah, you will have a +1 on your roll for this round.
Okay. I am going to. How far is the dog from me?
It's a ways. How does that sound?
Okay.
It might be able to, if it runs full pelt at you, it might be able to get it up in its jaws this round.
Yeah, that's not good. Okay, so I'm gonna try and I'm gonna break a hard left and try to dart into some trash. I'm kind of envisioning trash. It might be some old food containers, a box or two. I'm going to try to dart in there and hope that there's a mix of smells that'll distract them.
Interesting. That seems like actually kind of a sneak thing you're doing there.
Okay.
Do you want to do that, or do you want to just go for straight running?
No, I think I want to try that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have you make that sneak roll. Because the attention is split, I'll let that go. That seems reasonable.
Okay. So that'll give me a +1 to whatever I miserably roll. 6 makes 7, so that's good.
All right. So what is the sneak that you want there? We've got behind cover, silent, downwind, no tracks.
I think the downwind is probably apropos. I'm trying to mask my scent.
Okay, so you get in there, the essentially old McDonald's wrappers, the sort of the grease paper over you, French fries go flying, and you get all that weird scent. You probably stomp through the water that's at the bottom of garbage cans after several days that has that sort of pungent tang to it, and take off that way.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what about Bounty?
Oh, I don't know if he
Last we
knows.
left,
There you go.
yeah, thank you. Last we left Bounty, so I was startled, right? The pigeons had gone flying, the feathers had come down, the dog had erupted through the bush.
Yes, it doesn't look like it's necessarily going for you. It kind of sees you, but its attention is now all over the place. There are so many things it could put in its mouth.
And I saw Pumpkin successfully dive into the trash.
Yes.
I'm going to bolt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going for the hole.
All right. Let's have you roll plus swift, and you get a +1 because of your good friend's work.
Excellent. Remarkable.
So your total is
4.
5.
Oh, wait. Yes, because Swift is +1. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to take another point of panic.
Mm-hmm.
The dog is
Mm-hmm.
still not coming for you, but you kind of don't know that. Your mind kind of doesn't get on it. And to get to that hole, you kind of have to run more past where the dog's attention is at.
Mm-hmm.
And you hold yourself still. The dog does kind of look around, and you see him kind of hop back and forth barking at the pigeons. The pigeons get up on some of the trees and up on whatever statuary is there, and the dog is barking around at that point. So its attention has been broken.
Mm-hmm.
If you three want to get away,
Mm-hmm.
I will let you do that. But I will have to have Bounty make a resist panic on that.
All right. Steady is 0. And, ooh, finally, something out of the gutter on the rolls.
Okay. So you take a panic, but you get yourself away from there.
Okay, I get one more.
Yep.
One. Okay. So I'm at 4 for your.
Okay. So you are. What does that look like for you?
I'm probably. I mean, it probably makes me the worst thing in my life. My relatively young life has been my dislocation out of my warren. So I assume it's probably just a feeling of detachment, of losing my way, of not knowing where to go, and so I'm kind of invoking that. Like I'm just I don't know. I'm suddenly in a panic lost. Looking around.
So let's say then that Pumpkin and Dusty and Bounty are able to kind of get to one of the bolt holes, the one that you spotted nearby, even as the dog is barking, and get yourself to safety. Does that seem reasonable to you, Dusty?
Yeah.
Okay. You're the most together at this point, because you will see that Bounty is sort of wide-eyed and very still, and you'll see that Pumpkin, he smells. He just absolutely stinks. Yeah, it is an amazing new scent. I should introduce now a feral cat.
Yeah. Feral cat enters the story.
Yeah.
Being walked by its human.
So during that moment, you guys can catch your breath in the tunnel there. Do you want to take a moment to relax?
Definitely.
Okay. In that case, everybody can clear 1 point of panic.
Okay.
All right. That takes me back to 0 because I just had the 1.
Yeah, I think by outer appearances, Bounty seems relatively fine, unless again you pay attention and you see how wide her eyes are. But she's still pretty frozen. She's still she's shaken up for sure.
Okay.
Was it ever declared? Is she pregnant? I'm just curious.
No, she's not.
She's not. Okay.
I mean, there's been rumors because rabbits like to talk, but But no, you know she's told you no.
Okay.
So let me come back to Dusty. You may be a little bit anxious because, you know, you'd like to get moving on, but they need to kind of catch their breaths more than you do.
Yep. So I'm just like intermittently poking my head out the hole and making sure we're okay.
Okay. You'll see the dog runs around chasing after the pigeons for a bit, and then goes over and snorfs through the garbage. It will knock over another one of the garbage cans. It looks hungry, and it clearly starts eating garbage from out of there.
Dumbass dog.
And now probably smells a lot like Pumpkin does.
I don't smell that bad. Well, maybe I do.
But we'll say eventually the dog will wander off. You know, it sees a squirrel and heads off.
Squirrel moment.
Saved by a squirrel.
Never thought I'd ever hear those words, but
because squirrels are kind of jerks.
they are, and they really they're not friendly with rabbits. So they really are jerks.
Which is hard to understand.
Yeah.
Everybody loves us. We're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys do now?
Well, we still need to move east, right?
And Bounty says...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Bounty says, we're in the middle of the war, and I had no idea how hard this quest would be. This is too much.
Oh, youngin. You'll be fine. All right, so we needed to go what, south, right, towards the fence line. Is that what we were doing?
Going far.
East.
East. Okay, I thought it was east. All right, yeah.
Your other east.
So I'm gonna make
Okay.
kind of motion. We need to go that way if everybody's caught their breath and stuff.
And Dusty is certainly at the hole.
Just a curiosity.
Sure.
When that smoke that I smelled earlier, do I remember what direction that was wafting in from?
Do you want to go up and see if you can catch a scent of it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me have you roll a pay attention.
Okay. Okay, that's a 10 and plus 2 shrewd, 12.
All right, so I'll answer your question about the smoke, and then if you want to ask me another question, I'll fill you in on that. So definitely from the east, you're getting that smell. Not too bad, but enough that it makes you a little wary.
Hmm.
And then if you have another question, it can be a variation on what's on the sheet.
Let's say what. How could I get? How could I get there without too much attention?
Oh, so you are in one of these sections of the Warren that you know, and you kind of realize that there are some older tunnels that might take you guys a little bit longer to get through, but you could go a good deal of the way there underground.
Okay. Cool. All right, guys. I think I know a tunnel route that'll get us there without any more encounters.
I think a tunnel route is an excellent idea.
Will I fit?
Oh yeah, that might be a tight fit.
Well, it's always my concern, my portly size.
Well, it might rub off some of the trash off your hide. So.
Hey, that's what helps keep my coat, lush and beautiful.
Hmm.
And iridescent at this point.
Well, that's part of that lushness.
So you three will make your way through some of these old tunnels. Dusty has a good memory for these things, and you three will move along, and eventually poke your head out. It is now light out. There's maybe still a little bit of the misty rain, but the daylight is out, and still no people around. At least here in the green. So you guys will come out. Anything I should know about what you're doing there before we kind of? I assume you're heading towards the place that the pigeons mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there, are there any obvious places between us and the direction we're going, like, if we needed to take cover, or maybe stop and graze a little? I'm a little hungry.
Sure. What kind of place would there be?
I would think maybe some, like a stump or bushes, or again, more like a knocked over trash can, or even an upright trash can with lots of tall grass and weeds and stuff around it.
Okay. So yeah, let's say I like the bush idea. That gives you a little bit of cover.
Right.
So that there's a line of some manicured bushes there. Like they would have near the edge of the park.
Okay.
As you get over towards the gray, and let's say that there is a garbage can with some weeds over by it. So yeah, you guys will be able to take a moment to feed. Anything I should know about what you're doing, Dusty or Bounty?
I'll take a minute to feed, but I'm not eating anything nearly trash. I don't want to smell like pumpkin.
Okay. Fair enough. Bounty?
I think Bounty's main defining factor right now is she's still pretty panicked. So she's jittery. She would like to travel along the lines of the shrubbery as long as what's the equivalent of humanly possible, as rapidly possible.
Right.
I'm sure there's a better word there, but
Lagomorphically possible.
Yeah. Exactly what you said, short grass. Oh, very, very. Don't like that right now. We want long grass. We want shrubbery. We want cover.
Okay, so you three kind of stay in cover. No bolt out. Keep yourself pretty cautious. You will hear from the gray a little bit away. There is the sort of this hedge that you are at with the tall grass and so on, and then there's some more sort of grassy space. It's maybe a little bit more manicured, and then kind of a wall. But there's also a break in the wall there that you have to kind of go through to look out onto the gray, and you may hear a rumbling. But it's unlike the rumbling that you usually hear from the gray. The rumbling from the gray usually goes and goes away, has that shift. Instead, you're kind of hearing a going on.
And can we? Did you say that we can currently see an object or no?
You haven't moved out there to kind of take your peek out onto the gray. But I'm going to give you guys another moment of relaxation here. You can take one more panic off. since Pumpkin said that you guys were particularly taking a moment to graze. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Bounty needed that anyway to venture out from the cover towards anything that goes.
Right.
So let me come back to my most curious of rabbits, to Dusty. The munching has been done. Smoke has been smelled. There's that rumbling sound. What do you want to do?
Suppose somebody has to go and help peek outside.
Okay. Make your way over. What does that look like when you do that? What is your approach?
Trying to keep my body stay really small, low to the ground. Ears flat back.
Okay. You will do that, and you kind of peek out onto the gray, and you will see the gray is wide. It's wide open. There are those things that move, the metal things, that are set. They're never the same ones around. But the thing that strikes you is in the middle of the gray, there is a new thing.
Oh yeah.
It's a new thing. It's large. It goes all the way across the gray, and it's like blue and white, and it's tall, and it kind of undulates. It looks sort of like the houses that you've seen, but it's not made of anything sort of solid. But it has the holes in the side like the other places, like the windows that you can see there. And you can see that there are some humans, and they are moving around back and forth in and out of this thing. And it looks like they've got sleeping people, sleeping humans, but they're very still, and they're kind of, some of them seem to be in cloth of some kind, and some of them just seem to be sleeping, and they've kind of stacking them up. And you can see next to this weird undulating building is a big metal thing that's going. It's just sitting there. It's not moving. It's just making that sound. Questions?
Yeah, I have some.
Okay. Well, let me start with Dustin. Let me have him get first
okay.
question on this.
You say they're sleeping, but what are they sleeping something up or?
They're sleeping.
All right.
They're very still humans, and some of them are sleeping on top of one another there.
Oh. Okay. I'm looking around. I'm trying to see if I can see any signs of Fennel or his passage through here.
Okay. Let's have you make a pay attention roll for me, and then I'm going to come to Pumpkin, and then I'm going to come to Bounty. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I keep rolling tens.
Excellent.
So that's a 12.
I'm jealous of your die rolls.
There is a moment. I'll answer the question you asked, and then I'll give you another question to follow up with. When you see that the sort of the plastic that makes up this building that's in the middle of the road, kind of the wind catches it a little bit, and some of it lifts up, and you can see that there are some cages, some metal cages, and they're just on the other side of that plastic, and it looks like there is a rabbit in one of them, and maybe you catch a glimpse of the tag just for a second.
Gosh.
What's your next question?
How could I get to those cages without being seen?
You'd probably want to come around that big rumbling thing and make your way from that side and go in underneath the skirting of this fake building. Okay?
Okay.
So you'll get a +1 forward on doing that. Pumpkin, let me come to you.
Pumpkin's gonna nudge his way up there next to Dusty and kind of take in the sights and the scene there. This undulating, plasticky building and whatever that contraption is making that god awful racket. He is going to Pumpkin's intent on trying to figure out what the intent of the humans are.
Okay.
Kind of determine if they're a threat or if they are just kind of there.
All right, I think that's a pay attention roll.
Okay.
That seems like a reasonable thing. So roll plus shrewd.
And Shrewd is +0.
Okay.
I got 6. Good Lord, I can't roll.
So what you want to know is, are the humans, what's their intent? It looks like they're intent on moving these sleeping humans around, and they're also going over to some structures, some raised tables, and they're like doing some things on those. They seem to be sorting and moving things around. They remind you a little bit of the pigeons because they're kind of moving back and forth and stacking and moving things. And they're making their wah, 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 wah noise to one another.
Right.
But you will see, as you do that, you'll see one of the humans kind of turns and sees you.
Oh, damn it.
And he does kind of tap the shoulder of one of his other humans. Bounty, what about you?
Since I'm like he's poking his head up next to me, I guess they see me too.
Well, no, because he's the one who made that roll, so they probably spot him, but not you.
Okay, cool.
But Bounty, what about you?
Is it possible that I got that Dusty might have mentioned his thoughts about that big humming device, that big humming thing being our best path?
What do you think, Dusty?
I will have, yep.
Okay.
Well then, I am going to, having recovered just enough to have a brave thought enter my head, having spotted the humans spot Pumpkin, I am going to make for that large device, trying to use that at, since they seem to be already occupied.
Okay. Because the humans aren't making any aggressive actions, I'm not going to have you make, at least at this moment, not going to have you make a panic roll, but I will have you make that sneak roll. Roll plus shrewd.
My shrewd is 2 plus 2. Yeah,
So that's
7 for the win.
Could be worse. Could be worse.
Yes, get right over on that edge. So how do you want to describe your current state?
So I have they have used a they have things like lying all over the place, and
Uh-huh.
I have made a quick little short dash to where they had put down probably their own things. They had a stack of things that they like backpacks and lunches and these kinds of things for the day.
Okay.
And I got there safely. At least I think so. And
Absolutely.
I am hiding behind a knapsack, in between a knapsack and a cooler.
All right. You're in between a knapsack and a cooler, kind of there behind cover. That seems good. All right. I come back. The humans have spotted Pumpkin, but they don't seem particularly aggressive now. One of them kind of walks back in. So let me come to you, Dusty, when you kind of seen that, see Pumpkin get spotted. You see Bounty kind of move around over the direction that you were suggesting before. What do you want to do? Did I catch you off guard, Robert?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to Keith.
No, to you, Dusty.
All right. Well, I'm just going to try and follow along behind with Bounty.
Okay.
Try and sneak off.
You've got a +1 on this roll because of your earlier paying attention, and you got +2 for your shrewd.
Okay. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. So how do you want to describe where you are?
So I'm just hiding under sort of tarp, sort of some sort of plastic tarp.
Okay. There's a stack of body bags there you can get beside, actually. Okay.
Yeah. It's like they're just sleeping. I just try not to wake them up.
All right. Get yourself positioned. So, Pumpkin, you kind of look, you're like, okay, what's going on? And then you're like, oh, shit, the humans see you. But then you see at the corner of your eye your two friends take off.
Okay, I'm going to play the diversion guy here. In an attempt to make sure that if the humans are paying attention to any of us, they're paying attention to me and not those two sneaking around. I'm going to but I want to hold my position where I'm at, still in the open. I'm not feeling scared yet.
Okay.
I'm going to continue to watch them and see if I can figure out why there's sleeping things on the table. I mean, I don't know.
So kind of hold your position.
Yeah.
Wait to see what happens.
Right.
You will see the one human who saw you pick up something from the table, and he kind of turns and he walks just a little bit slowly, just a step or two towards you, still a ways away, very carefully, and you'll see him kind of crouch down, and you see he's got, this big, beautiful piece of white bread with some bright green lettuce on it. I mean, just beautiful. And he's kind of holding that out, and he's kind of puts it down.
Really, you got to do this to the fat guy? Come on.
He kind of puts it down there, and you see him kind of make some sounds.
Don't get greedy. You already ate. Don't get greedy.
I'm torn here, man. I'm torn between like scoring some food and my fear of humans.
Oh man, that is some beautiful leaf lettuce.
I am going to attempt to hold my position and just kind of like have a staring contest between me and the food.
Okay, that seems good, and certainly that is within. There's no resist temptation roll in here because you're not starving. We haven't established that, so you guys That
It
is the
looks so
pressure
good.
that's on you. But man, on fluffy bread there.
Lips smacking.
Yep. All right, I come back to my two sneaky rabbits. Assume you guys, Bounty and Dusty, are kind of within communication distance. So what do you two want to do?
What is the proximity of humans to our position currently?
Well, you probably don't see any from where you're at, but when the tarp wall of the thing kind of blows up a little bit, maybe you think you see feet, so there might be one human inside that structure, inside that big plastic room.
And does the humming thing offer any cover besides
yeah.
just a solid thing? Yeah.
It's super loud. I mean, when you get close to it, it's super loud, and it has a really bad smell to it.
Can you go under it or no?
No, it's pretty flat to the ground. Kind of vibrates a little. Almost hurts your ears when you're right next to it, right next to this generator.
I'm gonna go for it.
Okay, so describe to me what you try and do. I'm gonna try and.
So I'm gonna. This is a sneak.
Okay.
And I'm going to not seeing too many humans nearby, and probably already aware of Pumpkin's humans, if I may call them that, and their little tete-a-tete over there. So I'm going to go ahead and continue my subterfuge and see if I can make another leg towards this fake house.
All right. So you want to get in under the.
I want to make it at least to the device, which I take it is pretty close to the fake house.
Yeah, so actually I would say you're probably pretty near that right now. You could easily bolt in underneath if you wanted to.
Okay, well then that's what I'm going for.
Okay, and what about you? Before you roll, let me ask, Dusty, what are you doing?
I want to. Is there something I can maybe? I want to try and make a noise, but not make a noise. Make a noise somewhere off to the side to try and get the guy inside to leave.
Well, let me tell the situation. So it's very loud around here because of the diesel generator there. So on sort of sound is probably not going to be easy to do unless you can come up with something great on that, and so you might have to take another tact with that.
Okay, I'll just dart past the entryway.
Okay, so you want to do a bolt, and just go bolt past the entryway, across the gray, bolt past the entryway.
Yeah.
Okay, so this does seem like you're entering new dangers. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is make a resist panic roll.
Dusty is very brave.
So that's a 6.
With your steady?
That's 5, and I have +1 steady, so
Okay.
It's 6.
So you will take a point of panic, and you start to kind of make that move to dart out, and then you realize, I'm going to have to cross the gray. There are all these sleeping people. There's a big entryway. I don't know what's going on. There's that guy that's there. There's that lettuce, and you kind of freeze in place there. Don't make the run. Okay? And now the sneak roll for Bounty. No bonus.
All right. My shrewd is +2. And, yes. Perfect. So I get a whopping 5.
You get a 5. So you make your way inside, and there are a couple of cages here on the floor, and one is the rabbit, your friend.
Fennel.
Yeah, a Fennel. Thank you. I knew it was an herb, and I had all these herbs going through my head. So
Yep.
cinnamon? No.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so bifennyl, and there are a couple of humans in here. They're kind of on the far side. But when you get over by the cage where fennel is at, you're by there, and there is a shriek next to you as you realize that there's some animal in the cage next to the rabbit that actually makes a shriek, and its little arm comes through the cage and it grabs onto your fur.
Man, who put a child in a cage?
And you will see this little furry human has grabbed you. Okay?
Oh.
So we come back to Pumpkin outside. Pumpkin, you'll see Dusty kind of start to scoot up and then freezes, and maybe you hear another kind of weird animal shriek from inside. The guy who's out here kind of takes a look but pays more attention, still trying to keep you interested in the sandwich.
Yeah, let's talk about that sandwich. It's looking really good.
Really delicious. Got that
lip smacking, foot thumping, delicious. I'm going to kind of hop, like, not purposely trying to go towards the sandwich and the human who's trying to bait me, but kind of like hop forward, then maybe kind of hop to my left and back to the right, and I'm like totally, truly indecisive. Do I want to go forward? Am I scared? Am I brave? Especially after seeing Dusty stop and kind of freeze in mid-hop, as it were.
Okay. So you're trying to maybe you're trying to at least hold his attention to help the others?
Yeah, I want his attention focused on me. Now, if the sandwich is a byproduct of that, I'm okay.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
right.
just kind of like hop kind of forward, like diagonally to the right a little bit, and then maybe dart over to the left, and then back, and kind of like a triangular pattern. Not really advancing, but just trying to keep his attention on me.
Then I would either have you roll a shrewd or a steady roll. One of the two.
I'll take steady since I have a plus one in it. Not
Actually
that
have
typical.
one? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. So 6 and 1 is 7.
7. So you get maybe a little bit closer than you want to be.
Right.
But you kind of don't notice it because your mind is, you do draw the attention of this guy because you do get up and, we get a little nibble, and you're kind of there. And so you're maybe a little more in danger than you want to be. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Lovely. Thank you, my friend.
Then I'm going to come back to you, Dusty, outside. You froze, but then you hear the shriek, and you see Pumpkin kind of, oh man, he's going really close to that human. What do you want to do? You, in fact, actually might see that the human is maybe one of his hands is coming down, maybe to reach towards Pumpkin.
Okay. I'm gonna. Again, I'm doing my like ears, like perking up, and eyes, rolling from Bounty to the guy to the thing in the cage and just trying to get a read in the situation.
Okay, so you want to do a pay attention?
Yep.
Okay, let's essentially let's have you make that roll. And I'm saying the names of the moves a little bit too much, but I just want to, so we're playing to the mechanics here.
Okay, that's 11 plus 2, 13.
All right. So what is it that you want to know?
Okay, so how could I get the human to leave Bounty alone?
Uh, uh, you'd probably have to kick its cage, or give it something else to grab onto. It seems very driven by instinct.
Okay.
What's your other
How
question?
could I get something to give it?
Well, you know, these there are things nearby, raised up, that maybe you can knock it down on top of the cage. You'd have to hop up and knock the things off, but you could conceivably try to do that.
Okay, I think I'll try to do that then.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you on that in a second. All right, since you've assessed the situation. But let's go with Bounty. Bounty, this thing has grabbed you.
Are we at resist panic yet, or do I get to?
So I think this is actually a struggle roll is what you're going to be rolling here.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yep. All right. So yeah, I mean, this is like greatest nightmares come true of any rabbit, and so I'm like, I mean, I feel that, and I'm just going crazy. I'm like flopping around and kicking out. I'm not even sure what I kick. I mean, it could be a cage, it could be the hand. I would love for it to be that. It's probably more likely, anything. Could be anything. I'm going.
Okay.
It's a panic struggle type of thing.
All right. Roll with strong.
Strong is -1. Oh, perfect.
Okay. You are going to take a scar. And so a scar means that one of your basic moves is disabled.
Ouch.
Oh boy.
That's kind of nasty. So which of your moves do you think is disabled by the sort of the tearing, gripping of this little macaw monkey?
Let's see. That's a basic move?
Basic move. It could be a psychological effect. It could be a physical effect.
I am probably... well, it probably, I could probably no longer do the full rabbit bolt. I think I'm probably, physically hampered right now. I've got a limp. I basically have a limp. So.
All right, that's pretty brutal.
It is pretty brutal, but you know what? That's just the way it is.
Okay, this monkey kind of grabs on, pulls at your haunch there, gets a hold of you on that. I'm going to come out to you, Pumpkin.
Okay.
Your distraction didn't help enough.
Right.
And then suddenly this hand grips you.
Crap.
And essentially grabs onto your fur, clearly trying to pick you up.
Right.
This operation is going just as we planned.
Yes, it is. I am going to try to break free.
Okay, so that's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So you roll strong. This is your forte.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, here we go. How about an 11 total?
Oh, yes.
Beautiful.
So you will grab on, and he just sees a fat rabbit. And so there is that moment when he gets a hold of you, and he suddenly realizes, that rabbit's not fat, that's a muscled rabbit. And you'll do that kind of flick out, and he kind of falls backwards as the rabbit flies out of his hands.
Right.
And you'll hear some of the other humans making a noise. It sounds like ah ha ha ha, as
Nice.
they're laughing at him, and he couldn't get a hold of the rabbit there. So you get free. You'll probably have a chunk of the lettuce in your mouth.
Right on.
Sweet, delicious. You got that ambrosia there. Let's come back to Dusty.
All right, so Dusty is going to try and hop up and bring this shelf thing down and.
Okay. Let us have you roll a. It's going to be more of a swift roll than anything else, as you kind of leap up to knock things down. So let me have you make a swift roll.
Okay. Okay, so that's 7.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say happens. I'm going to give you a point of panic as you leap up onto the side table and you knock test tubes and vials and beakers every which way, and a bunch of them fall down onto this rabbit. You make a bunch of noise, and so when we come back here to Bounty, you've got a +1 from Pumpkin's work outside. You've got a +1 from this distraction that's been created here. Just need to get a simple roll here. I think actually in this case, I will let you roll shrewd because of the distraction. Because it's less a physical question now.
Yeah, because I feel like I don't have the ability to scamper, but so sneaking is my I'm hoping to get lost in the shuffle now.
Okay.
There are a pile of coats in the corner of this fake house, and I am going for a sleeve.
Okay. Let's have you make that roll, shrewd.
Shrewd is +2. Come on, baby.
And another +2 from your associates.
That's right. If I blow this one, woo! Good to have the pluses stuff.
So 10. So what are the 3 elements of your hiding now?
I do so like a ninja rabbit, so it's very, very quiet.
Okay.
I get my sleeve, so you see me kind of up into the sleeve of this big, sizable weather coat with the oversized sleeves, and clearly there is a wind coming from the west, and so it's blowing in through this fake house. So none of the animals get, like, whatever animals might be in there are kind of lose me in the yes.
And you kind of limp over there, but you manage to get in there. All right, so you're hidden away. So here's the situation. You're hidden away in a coat. Dusty has leapt up on this table and knocked things over and hurt the monkey, shocked it, you might say, and it has let go there. And Bounty has flipped out of the Pumpkin has flipped out of the hands outside. In fact, I'm going to come back to Pumpkin. Pumpkin, that rabbit was dynamite, and you've hit the gray. What do you want to do?
I am. I want to take advantage of the human's inconvenient position, having fallen backwards on its backside and kind of flailing, and by my sheer power and might. I'm going to actually, once I hit the ground, I'm going to bound forward instead of away, because I know Dusty and Bounty are they're having some troubles, and I'm kind of feeling compelled. I need to intervene on their behalf and help them
All right.
out. But I got to get over this human. So if I happen to thump him in the face, it's okay.
So this is you're going to be trying to do a help hinder. You're kind of putting yourself directly in danger.
I am.
Okay. This is the same human, so I won't have you make a resist panic on this.
Okay.
When another one comes out and doubles it up, that's going to be a whole new situation for you.
Okay.
But your help hinder is going to be based on your strength because you're actually trying to leverage that to your advantage.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Let's have you make that roll.
All right. 9 + 2 is 11.
Excellent. So his distraction will pass another +1 to both of you in there as he does that, and get yourself so you're not within range of this guy grabbing onto you on the next round. Maybe you get another hunk of bread now in the fracas.
Hey, yeah. I'm good.
Dusty,
what about you?
Well, now that Bounty's clear, I want to try and get to Fennel's cage and see if I can spring him somehow.
Ooh, okay. There are humans here. You've made a bunch of noise. So I will let you get over and maybe try and innovate, but first I'm going to need you to resist panic.
Okay.
Come on, you can do it.
Steady +1. That's
Nice.
10
Nice.
+1.
You are up there, and you will get over to this. The cage has a thing on it. We want to try and get it open?
Yep.
Okay. So this is kind of unheard of. So this is kind of working a simple cage lock. So we'll call this kind of a lock pick move. To innovate that, we're going to have you make that roll. That seems like shrewd to me, right?
Yep.
Okay. So how about we say before you roll, on a 10+ you can get it. On a 7 to 9, you can do it, but it creates an additional problem for you when you do it. Seem reasonable?
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
so let's have you make your innovate roll.
Okay, so that's I'm getting a +1 from Pumpkin, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right. So you get over here. We create this move, and you'll bite onto it. It's one of those like just a simple push down. They don't have very complex cages here for the animal pickups, and so you bite onto it and get that cage door open. What about you, Bounty? When you see him get that open?
That's so crazy.
Let's see. Do I think that, from what I've seen so far and my time in front of in front of Fennel's cage, what's my impression of Fennel's condition?
He's quite scared. He's pretty right on the edge of just absolute freak out panic, especially with the thing with the monkey and the test tubes falling down, the people around.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And there's all this noise. And one of the advantages you have is that generator is right by here, so it's covering a lot of the noise for the people.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to try and do?
Is it possible to? So I'm thinking that Fennel saw me. You know, in fact, I mean that thing reached out, grabbed me, shrieked. So Fennel like got a front row seat to the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And so he saw me. He's like the only one that saw me go into that sleeve, kind of limp drag myself into that sleeve. So now I'm looking out and I'm trying to catch Fennel's eye, and I'm going to try to speak plainly, and steady his resolve.
Oh, that seems like good. Okay. Let's have you make that shrewd roll.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You get the
So
advantage of the +1 from Pumpkin out front. Sorry, yeah,
nice.
Pumpkin. Yeah.
All right, and I have +2 shrewd, so it's a total of +3.
Ow.
All right. He is panicked. He does not move. Despite the cage door being open, there's all this noise. There's the shrieking. There's the people around, and he doesn't move.
Mm.
And you will see one of the humans make more noise than before. And the two humans that are in here, one of them gets down from their perch, and the two of them are moving across, coming over this way. It looks like they're picking things up in their hands, some sort of objects with like handles and things. So danger is imminent. Fennel isn't moving. The cage door is open. You are still hidden. Dusty is exposed. Pumpkin is outside, taunting the scientist who's on his ass. Pumpkin. Now the situation is getting a little more dangerous out here because the other guy who was laughing at the person who fell over has moved over now. What do you want to do?
I don't know. That's a good question. I want to. You said Fennel's not moving out of the cage. Scared stiff.
You probably can't even see those guys from. Well, actually,
Okay.
let's say I could. Yeah, if you look over, you'll see that mess over there, and Fennel is not moving out of his cage.
Okay. I'm going to do what I do best, and
You're gonna kick Fennel, aren't you?
you betcha I am. I'm gonna leap over there. I'm gonna bound over there, but I'm gonna use it as that. I'm gonna use my feet to do my talking.
Okay, your thumper.
My thumper.
All right. So where Bounty has tried to calmly speak, you are simply going to try and shock the rabbit into action. Let's have you
Absolutely.
make that strong roll.
All right. Nope. Nope. That's gonna be a total of 6.
Okay. Fennel is not moving.
Great.
So he is there. He's not moving. The situation is getting dangerous and dire. Let me come to you, Dusty.
Okay, so I'm like, Fennel, get over there, come on.
You also want
If
to
he's
try
not
and...
moving,
He's not
if
moving.
he's not moving, I'm gonna bite him.
Okay.
Right
So
on.
let us see. This is going to be a struggle, so you're going to have to roll strong if you want to do that.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Okay, so that's -1, so that's 9.
Well, was it 11 or a 10 that you rolled?
It was a 10, so it's a 9.
Okay. So you will bite him and kind of pull him out of the cage, but you are exposed to danger here. Essentially, as one of these humans moves over to tase you. Okay. So let me have you roll a swift as a struggle here.
Right.
Don't roll like me.
That's a 5.
All right. So you will take a scar.
Mm.
What move do you want to... knock off?
Speak plainly, because I am not in the mood.
Okay. So where you're at, Bounty, and even Pumpkin, you will see one of these humans comes over, and he's got some stick, and he puts it by your friend Dusty, and there's a suddenly a smell of burning fur as a little current zatches out, and you will see Dusty shake when that happens. Funnels maybe part way out of the cage. Dusty is there. This situation has gone terribly wrong. What do you want to do?
I really want to. I want to beat Fennel, but that's just me.
It's not just you.
You could continue to hide. You could try and bolt. Oh, no, you can't.
No. Thank you for that reminder of my my disability. So does it appear to me that Dusty is incapacitated?
He is still moving.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't look incapacitated. He looks shaken.
Mm-hmm. And Fennel's out of the cage? Is that correct?
He has been pulled partially out of the cage. Yes.
And the human obviously is fully focused on that scene.
Yes, because these two are like, oh God, the rabbits are getting loose. What's this other rabbit doing here?
Mm-hmm. I am going to man, without Bolt, if I do anything, I'm screwed. But what are you gonna do?
You could sneak away.
Well, yes. Oh, yeah. No, that's for sure. I meant to do it. When I said do anything, I meant do anything in their favor. Sneak away is definitely in my best interest. Let me see here. I am going. This needs to be maximum creativity now, because blunt force is out of the question, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am going to. Are there other cages that I can see that are not on that side of the fake house?
Sure. Let's say yeah. What's in them?
Other specimens.
Okay. Give me 2 examples.
I am looking for one that resembles the one that shrieked.
Okay, so another one of these monkeys, sure.
I want some shrieking.
Okay.
And so my intention here is to do a help hinder by I want to instigate, and I'm going to try not. I don't really want to blunt force this, but I would like to go over by this cage quietly and let this thing get a full view of me. This ugly furry child.
So
in the cage.
I will tell you what you can do. I'll give you 2 options on this.
Yes.
You can sneak over on this round,
Mm-hmm.
and then next round kind of bring your attention and create the distraction, or you can move across and try and create the distraction on this round.
And then moving across obviously is more risky.
You'll be rolling swift on that.
Mm-hmm. I think this is about as courageous as she gets. I'm going to go ahead and do the sneak on
Okay.
this round.
Okay. Won't even make you make a panic roll. Let's have you make that shrewd roll.
Okay. Shrewd is +2. Okay. There we go.
Okay. So you will get over there behind cover.
Mm-hmm.
Make your way around. maybe a couple of birds in here, and one of these little humany things with fur, and you're over by that. Pumpkin. Fennel's partially out of the cage, and Dusty has been burnt. The humans here are paying attention. You've smashed over here and kind of kicked the cage. What do you want to do now?
I am. Is Fennel moving at all, or is he just still kind of frozen, half in, half out?
He will need more impetus.
I am going to get a little creative. Instead of trying to persuade him with kicks and stuff, I'm going to actually try to kick the cage.
Okay.
And kind of jostle the cage around, and hopefully that's enough impetus for him to hop forward and make his way out back from the gray and into the green.
Okay. So you're going to do that. You're going to be in danger, but you'll do that. You're going to use strong to do that. Speak plainly. Go ahead and do that.
Okay. Jesus. No.
Oh.
5 total.
So you will kick the cage, and he actually kind of slides back in a little bit. He's in full rabbit panic mode. And one of these humans grabs you.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh, man.
I need you to make a struggle roll for me.
Coming up.
Come on,
Yeah. It's 12.
Okay, so again, you move fast. You're kicking around. I mean, and you've seen rabbits. I don't know if you've ever had pets that have grabbed rabbits up. They go scooting all over the place. It tries to grab you, but you knock it away. But you are there are a bunch of humans here. They're going to take you. They're going to grab you. They're going to put you in a cage. You know that's what's going to happen here soon. And Fennel's not moving. Bounty's vanished. And Dusty's on fire. So just look at this situation.
Yeah.
Dusty is on fire.
Yeah. Well, that's what you think.
Right.
And the monkey is screaming still. The one in the cage next to Fennel. Dusty, what are you doing?
I'm gonna run.
Okay, bolting.
Yep.
Okay, let's have you roll with Swift.
That is a 4 total.
Okay. So you kind of bounce around in here. You don't get where you need to go. Take a point of panic. It's that you kind of lose your direction. And what does that look like?
Well, I've just been tased, so my movements are really jerky and sort of disoriented, and I'm just sort of going in circles around this fake house.
Okay, so bouncing around, circling around in here, not seeing where the exits are. Bounty.
So I am going to. At this point, there is like a stack of these cages with various specimens. I've chosen one that looks like the ugly furry child, like the one next to Fennel, and I am going to try. My intention here is to raise holy animal instinctive hell on this side of the fake house by giving them a big sniff of rabbit and jostling their cages.
Okay. Let me have you roll with Shrewd. Since you're declaring it very more clever than in physical.
Mm-hmm. My Shrewd is +2. There we go.
So that's a 10?
Mm-hmm.
So you will set off all of these cages over here. They've got
Uh,
birds and monkeys and all of that suddenly shriek out, and probably the whole thing of it starts to shake. And you will see at least half of those humans are suddenly turning to see what the hell is going on the other side. They're making noise with their mouths louder than before, and their arms are gesticulating, and one seems to be trying to get Pumpkin, one seems to be trying to get a Dusty, but now there's this whole new situation. They don't know what's going on. Pumpkin,
yes.
you have an opening. You could bolt now.
Go, Pumpkin, go!
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bolt. That would be the prudent thing to do, and maybe it'll be of enough incentive for Fennel to snap out of his panic mode.
Okay. Let's have you roll your swift,
Yeah,
and
that's.
you're
Oops.
gonna
I'm gonna goober that
do
up.
that. Yeah,
2 dice. Yeah.
2 dice. Roll swift with a +1 from the distraction
All right.
created
So
by bounty.
that will net me a +0
Okay.
for a 10 total.
Look at that. You run
Damn.
like the wind. Bounty, you will see Pumpkin run like you've never seen him run as he gets that opening and he takes off. I assume back towards the green?
Oh yeah, yeah. Gonna dart right through the opening of the tent, the fake building, whatever we're calling it, across
Okay.
the pavement and into the green of the park itself.
All right. And let us come to Dusty. What are you going to do?
So I'm gonna start knocking stuff all over. So make it harder for the humans to chase me through this place.
So your intent is basically to engage in struggle and make it difficult for them to grab you, or do you want to try and use that as a different kind of aiding, or what?
I want to make it.
You've got a +1 to your action this round. Don't forget from the assist that Bounty gave you.
I'll make it a struggle.
Okay. So let's do the struggle, and let's do it with swift instead of strong with that. I'll give you a +1 on that.
Okay, so that's +1 total, and that is that's a 3.
3. So you're smashing around, trying to get distracted, and they will get a hold of you, and you're going to take another scar. Bounty. So what do you think you want to mark off there, sir?
I think I'm gonna mark off bolt.
Okay. So they have a hold of you. It's Bounty. You see this. Fennel's in a cage. Pumpkin is taken off. They have a hold of Dusty. What do you want to do?
Desperate times, desperate measures. So I am on the side or towards the back of these cages that I have raised a ruckus with. And I am going to try to, if possible, struggle with those cages to knock them off. I'm gonna try to dislodge a cage.
That will be a strong roll.
I'm not happy about it. But
okay.
That's what it's come to.
Okay. Let's have you roll that struggle.
Okay,
with the effects there.
My strong is a -1. Yeah, could be worse.
Do you want to take a scar?
I think we've come to this.
Okay, what are you taking the scar on?
Um, let's see. I think that when I knock one of these cages, there is a bottle on top, and it is not secured as well as it could be because they were refilling it, and it comes over, it topples, and I get covered in this, or at least I take a pretty good dose of this acidic liquid.
Okay.
And it basically scars literally the side of this formerly comely, lush coat and rabbit. And so my speak plainly has been basically, you look at me and it's just like, oh, you just can't look at me and focus. I mean, whatever I say, all you're doing is looking at me.
All right.
Yes.
That sounds good, essentially. And again, a horrible smell in here. There's chaos all around. You've kicked some of these cages. They're just sort of temporary transport things. So a couple of them are collapsible, and they've kind of gone over, and they'll fall. And you will see the human that has a hold of Dusty actually drops Dusty from that. But you probably, that's the last thing you see before this splashing hits you. Pumpkin has bolted. Dusty, I come back to you. The human has dropped you. What do you want to do?
Right. Well, the motion going on and all the stuff that's been scattered by is thrashing about. I want to try and sneak under some stuff and just get out of sight.
Okay, let's have you make that shrewd roll.
Okay. That's a 9 plus 2, so that's 11.
So you're startled, you're freaked out. This thing drops you, and you'll be able to, when it hit this ground, and there's in the midst of all this noise, you'll be able to sneak and get underneath these tables, and then out to the rumbling thing. You're out of the line of sight of this. I just come back to you, Bounty. What do you want to do?
Let's see. So I see Dusty make a getaway.
Dusty makes a getaway. Pumpkin is gone. Fennel is still in the cage. But look at all the damage that has occurred to you.
What is the attention of the humans at this point?
Well, now it's on cleaning up these cages and figuring out what the heck's going on.
I'm going to make an attempt. So at this point, I'm going to make an attempt at with one of my few things I can do. I'm going to make an attempt to go around the outside of these cages again in the same way that I did to get here, and try to make my way over to Fennel's cage.
Ooh, see now, there's a lot of danger around here.
Oh yeah.
So if you do that, I'm gonna say you're gonna have to fight your panic here because you're in pain.
Yes.
There's noise all around. So
no doubt.
Let's have you make that resist panic.
Yeah. All right. My steady is 0. Oh, there we go.
You are a lucky rabbit.
I felt it. It's Bounty's time. It's her moment.
And your sneak?
And now my sneak.
This is shrewd. This is your forte.
Yes, +2. Here we go.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. So you can get over there. Fennel is panicked. There are no eyes on you. They are cleaning up, trying to get these monkeys from getting out over there. Dusty has made it out. Pumpkin has made it out. You could go. You could go now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do?
I am going to, because of my
when
handicap.
Fennel sees you,
Mm-hmm.
just your appearance panics him more.
He's attracted to you. He really is. He just doesn't know it yet.
Okay, I am going to. I'm going to look around. Basically, I'm going to try to pay attention for a way. I have one thought that I am going to pay attention. But I have one thought of how do I lure Fennel? How do I break him out of his trance? And perhaps there's something like food around to even tempt him with to break out of this. But in essence, in this turn, that's my first thought. But I want to try.
Let's have you pay attention.
Yeah. Shrewd again?
Yes.
Okay, +2. Oh, the rolls keep coming.
Excellent. It looks like you need to spin that cage around so that Fennel can be essentially facing the outside, so he sees a clear, steady path.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Your second question?
Oh, my second question.
And then I'm going to come back to Dusty and Pumpkin.
Okay, I'm gonna ask where can I flee to with the idea of perhaps getting a bonus when I where can I actually I'm gonna Fennel at some point has to do some of this on his own. So my actual question is I want to know where I can flee to in the idea of where can I really sneak to? What is my best ability to just kind of blend in since I know I'm injured?
You want to get back past that rumbling thing because it's loud. It has the smoke. It's for your mind the best cover there is.
Okay.
Pumpkin, you've made it to the green. You kind of catch your breath, turn around. You'll look. Noise. Crisis there. You'll see Dusty sneak out a little. What do you want to do? Get back to safety?
No, I think I want to hold my ground temporarily and kind of like, I don't know, rabbit yell, shriek yell.
Okay. You said you want to tell Dusty that you're safe?
Yeah, that and kind of conveying several messages. That so Dusty knows where I'm at and knows that I'm feeling safe to some extent. Maybe loud enough, but I don't know if it would be for Fennel to hear me.
See, the problem is, of course, again, that generator.
Yeah.
That has been an ally to you in terms of being able to sneak, but works against you in terms of communication.
Yeah. So I am, I think, gonna do just that. I'm gonna yell and scream and.
You don't have to resist panic. You've got yourself in a safe position. You are good to go. If anybody comes for you, you know you can get out of here. You can still bolt. What about you, Dusty? Do you want to continue sneaking? You could get away. You see Pumpkin over there.
I try and figure out. Yeah, I'm just gonna sneak away. No.
Okay.
Nope,
In that case, you had your good sneak roll last time. You can get over there to where Pumpkin is. You don't even have to roll. You don't even have to roll.
Okay.
You are set. You'll get over there, panting heavily, and what does he look like now after all of this chaos?
He was twitchy before. Now he's like, he's got facial tics and, his ear keeps twitching. His left ear keeps going. Doop, doop.
His ear's got a tick.
All right. I come back to Bounty.
So at this point, I need to get that cage around. That's my next.
All right. That is a strong roll.
Yeah, unfortunately.
With
Yes,
no assist.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, old girl, you can do it.
Here we go. -1.
You go to move it, it won't budge for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see as you're kind of making it, you can see that human attention is coming back over this way. What do you do?
I am. I'm going to try to sneak away.
Okay.
I give it a shot.
Make that sneak roll for me.
Yeah. The hero level, I've spent all my hero juice. Let's try to get away.
Roll shrewd.
Shrewd +2. There we go. See, that was the direction to go.
Right.
So you three will sneak away. You'll get to the edge of the green. The humans don't pursue you.
Mm-hmm.
They reset the things. You guys will be able to fall back. You'll be able to tell this tale to the others in the Warren to warn them of this. And over the next few days, there are fewer and fewer people around, fewer and fewer humans, and things will go to seed, and the park will turn wild. But that was the story of the day when Fennel went missing, and when all of the humans began to die off. And there we go.
Interesting.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh yeah, man.
Okay.
Nice. That was good times.
I hope you what Renee Nip, who's very, very good with this and an excellent GM, when she ran, she actually handed because we did several chapters, she handed that sort of teaser tag. That was the story of when, and then let the players kind of narrate on that. I did my GM intrusion there. I apologize. I should have handed it off, but
No, that's interesting. I was wondering about the stacked humans. I'm like, I think they've got to be dead, don't they?
Yeah,
Humans don't like to be. They don't like to be stacked unless they're dead.
Well, I couldn't decide if they were bunk beds in the campsite or if it was like a makeshift morgue.
Yeah, I thought even maybe relocating a cemetery. I was working with.
okay. No, there's a lot of good. Yeah. I think the Warren's worth reading. The worlds that they have in there are very clever. There's a great one set in the Bayou. There's one set in World War One. There's some other really neat setups that they've got in there. So
cool.
it's.
I need to finish reading the book. Is what I need to do.
Was that okay for everyone?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And if you have feedback for me, feel free to send that on. I always like to hear suggestions and things.
It seems natural for the one shot too, because it didn't take too long to create the whole thing, and creating is kind of fun too. So it's a natural, I think, for that whole one shot.
I'm curious. See how you take damage by marking off your moves. So is there some way to like regain that, or you just is that it's gone until your character retires or dies?
They have it that you can recover those moves. Essentially, when you advance, you get to pick a new move, so you could take back a move that you had lost.
Oh, okay.
So you can heal, and essentially they say panic is one way to kind of go out, and they say once a rabbit has gotten 3 scars, they're pretty much useless at that point. So they should kind of narrate their retirement at that moment.
Bounty was on the verge.
Yes, very very close.
And so was I.
Yeah.
As long as we didn't have to see Fennel go into a wood chipper or something, you know.
Yes.
Oh no.
Well, thank you guys very much. It was a pleasure playing with you. Sean, I don't think I'd had a chance to play with you before, had I?
No, first time. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with your podcast, so I was familiar with you from removed, but
okay.
This is our first.
Awesome.
Good work. Yeah.
And Robert, had I played with you before?
I'm not sure. I think it might have been in the game with you as a player, but
yeah. Yeah, because I know the name, so probably. And Keith, I know I've played with before.
Oh,
so you've put up with me in the past.
That was fun.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn the broadcast off,
yes.
and it'll be uploaded to YouTube soon.